Hi, I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Jeremiah.
And today on our podcast, our question is, as a single parent, how do you know when it's the right time to introduce your child to someone you're dating? I think that's a really excellent question. Honestly, probably, with a bunch of different answers, but I think ultimately you'll know when you feel like it's time to introduce your children. I definitely don't think it's something that should be done right away. I know, specifically for us in that case, I think we were together 4 or 5 months before you met the boys. Basically make sure there's no point in bringing home a bunch of guys and confusing the kids and, they don't need more uncles around kind of thing. So.
Or aunts.
Yes, or aunts. In my case, it was uncles, I guess. So yeah, I know that I thought that, with the boys, it was already hard enough, I guess, for them to, go through the whole divorce and all of that, let alone bringing in somebody new. And so, I kind of think I felt like I needed to know that, we were in a good place before I introduced them. And even when I did, it was, oh, hey, this is my friend kind of thing.
Right.
I just have very smart boys who were like, yeah, right, he's your boyfriend.
Yeah.
They got it before I actually told them, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I know for us it was that I wanted to wait to make sure that they were, comfortable and everything. And even then, I think it was still a little hard for them, to kind of get over it. But they liked you a lot and kind of instantly had a connection. So in our case, that worked out really well.
Right.
What do you think?
Well, I think it all just depends on how you feel about that. Like if you feel like the time is right, then do it. I know some people have to that are divorced and have their kids as parents and stuff. Like sometimes they like to meet the other person before they meet the kids and all that stuff. And so in that scenario, that would depend on that.
Right. That's a good idea. Sometimes a lot of, we don't think about that, but when we split up with somebody we're with, sometimes there's hurt and there's anger and we don't really want to have to deal with them. But unfortunately, if you have kids, you have to deal with them. It's just kind of part of life. And so, in that sense, I know that can be a really good idea, is to have that talk with your ex and basically be like, I guess kind of express how you both feel. If you're, kind of put yourself in that and be like, well, I know I would feel uncomfortable if you were bringing all these women around my kids and everything, and actually have that conversation. So I know with my ex, it was that conversation of kind of us seeing other people. It wasn't so much the talking about the boys,
right.
As in it was just kind of talking about how soon it was from the divorce and all that kind of stuff. But I've seen that a lot in relationships. I know that, you and your ex-wife have had that deal too, kind of like, I meet this person before the kids meet this person.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's just kind of a safety thing, to make sure that, love is blind, and so you're not going to be. So it's probably, sometimes better to kind of have that thing where you're going and you're meeting the other person and you're able to see like, okay, well, obviously looking at this guy, you're a drug user and I don't want you around my kids,
right.
Or, or you look like a stand-up guy and, whatever the situation is, sometimes you might see that before she would see that.
Right.
So, yeah, so I don't think there's like a definite amount of time to take in that. I think it's really going to be like how you feel comfortable. But I do agree having, both parties have some kind of a say in that, because I've known many people in relationships where, let's say the woman, for instance, I'm going to use a woman in this scenario. The woman will, start dating and 2 weeks later, she's like, I love this guy, he's great, he's the one, and she thinks that, but she, like I said, love is blind, she's not being realistic, she's kind of caught up in the little love bubble, and everything, right. And she's not really looking 2 weeks. What do you know in 2 weeks? I knew I was in love with you in 2 weeks, but I wasn't stupid enough to introduce you to my kids.
She's lying. Every word she says are lies.
But yeah, I wasn't. You need to be smart and safe and think about your kids in that aspect. And if you're running around going, I love this person 2 weeks later, and then another 2 weeks passes and you break up. you know.
Yeah, I think that whole thing where, you know, yeah.
You think what now?
Yeah.
What was that? Yeah?
Yeah, that right there, that whole, like, you know, that whole 2 weeks, oh, I love you thing. No, you don't.
I kind of think, even if you are in love with that person, you don't need to necessarily say that. Like, I know with us, from the, you know, second I saw you, I was like, whoa, there was this huge just connection right away. But I know that it wasn't right away that I was willing to admit that to you, you know, maybe my best friend or something, but with you it was a little bit longer before I was finally like, you know.
You already told your best friend that you did love me from the second you saw me, yeah. Stalker.
Actually, no, I waited a little longer before I told her too, just because I thought she might be like, wait, what? Really? Okay, you just met him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, you know, in the case of the kids, you know, I think we have a really good experience with kids. You know, we have 7 of them all together. So, you know, we basically have that thing, you know, from previous marriages to together and kind of just looking at that different aspect of it, you know. So, I know personally for me with my ex, you know, when he started dating, you know, my biggest thought is I don't really care who you're seeing or what you're doing there, but I want to make sure whoever this woman is really nice to my kids, you know, because they've been through a lot and, well, they're my kids. And, so yeah, so I know that's kind of important, you know, kind of having that, setting those boundaries with your ex and saying, like, this is what we're going to do. So
I also know, and I'm cutting you off.
That's fine.
But I also know that you don't have your children start calling them mommy or daddy because that's stupid. Like, you're not looking for somebody to replace or be the parent that, you know, if that's just not smart. Right.
And I think that makes a lot of sense. A lot of times, you know, you'll kind of have that the person comes in and they kind of take over, and, you know, sometimes they kind of step where they're not needed. You know, even personally for me, I kind of know, I think in the beginning of us being together with the boys coming around, I kind of just instantly just felt like mom, you know, and I kind of had to step back too and go, they have a mom, I'm the stepmom here, you know, kind of thing. And, realize that my role in their life is different, you know, and I think that that's really important. I mean, kind of a different conversation, but I do think that, you know, having that, as the parent with your kid, don't be pushing them to have that attachment and everything. I know for you and me, you know, at the time, you know, our oldest was, you know, 13, and for him it was really hard. He was very close to his dad, and he had, you know, all of this stuff happening.
Wow.
What?
It just hit me.
How long it's been? Yeah, I know. Now that he's all grown up and has his own kid, right?
Yeah.
But at the time, it was that thing. I know I really felt like with him, like I didn't want to push you on him or anything, and I know for you even that he was probably the one you tried to win over the most, because I warned you he's going to be difficult and he might hate you, and it actually turned out to be the opposite, you know. So he connected with you really well, and look at everything now. So, but that was something he had to come to, and I think that's kind of important, you know, is kind of watch how your kids are, listen to your kids, and, you know, don't rush anything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't bribe them either.
Yeah.
I didn't bribe anybody. I was just being nice.
Yeah.
There's a difference between, you know, bribing, like, love me, versus, you know,
I have a little bit of bribing, you know, because I don't think I have any other friends who show up to meet my kids with a bunch of gifts. So, a little bit of bribing.
No, okay, maybe a little bit, but yeah,
it worked.
It worked, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I am Kaylee,
and I'm Jeremiah,
and thank you for listening to our podcast today.
Bye.
Bye.